very warm welcome to Weekend News Live from the Sierra Leone broadcast. Hamid. Coming up in this edition, Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Den Anthony Sandy, says the strong link between child marriage and adolescent pregnancy is now of national concern. World Health Organization, with funds from UK government, launches projects to reduce tobacco smoking in the country. Advocates of disability education in Sierra Leone call on the Ministry of Basic and Senior Education to prioritize inclusive education in the country. Plus, National Social Security and Insurance Trust (NASIT) inspects construction work at Sewa Grounds Market Complex. All these stories and more lined up in this edition of the Weekend News. Welcome back. The Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Anthony Sandy, has said that the strong link between child marriage and adolescent pregnancy has become a national concern. He made the statement during his launching at the National Strategy for the Reduction of Adolescent Pregnancy and Child Marriage. The overall goal of the strategy is to reduce adolescent fertility rates. The launching ceremony took place at Bo District Council Hall, Soa Road. Joseph Stanley has more.
Let me use this opportunity to thank the Secretariat for the good work they have started, and in view of which I hereby officially launch the national strategy for the reduction of teenage pregnancy and child marriage at the regional level, and therefore declare this 2 days workshop open.
The document will be used to ensure government and its development partners focus on delivering evidence-based activities for the next 5 years. According to Dr. Sandy, Sierra Leone is one of the countries with the highest maternal, newborn and child mortality rates in the world. He said, according to WHO, 15 million girls aged 15 to 19 and 1 million girls under the age of 15 give birth every year, mostly in low-income countries. The deputy minister informed the gathering that young people face a number of sexual and reproductive health problems in the country, including unplanned teenage pregnancy, unsafe abortion, and sexually transmitted infections. The Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Anthony Briwa, pledged to support the strategy through agencies to ensure it is implemented to change the situation. The Minister of Youth Affairs, Mohamed Bangua, referred to government's intervention to address adolescent pregnancy and child marriage as a laudable venture, but noted that teenage pregnancy is alarming. The Deputy Minister of Social Welfare, Gender and Children Affairs, Mohamed Haji Kella, described the increase in rape as unacceptable and a serious concern to the government. Chairman Council of Paramount Chiefs said stakeholders, including Paramount Chiefs, have a vital role to play to reverse the trend of teenage pregnancy and child marriage in the country. The coordinator of the National Strategy for the Reduction of Adolescent Pregnancy and Child Marriage, Patricia Barr, said the strategy has 5 pillars that will be implemented by a multi-sectorial approach.
Within the strategy, we try hard to reduce the number of girls that get married between the age of 18 to 25. We try to bring it down by 25%. Monitoring and evaluation is key. We need to know where we are. We have a baseline. As I speak, we have started doing what we call partner mapping. We have a lot of partners implementing. After the official opening, ladies and gentlemen, all of us are going to stay with the exception of the members of the high table, because we really want to look at the document itself and come out with key activities that we believe we can implement within this first year, that we can showcase and present to our ministers for one-on-one submission to the president of our country.
Development partners, civil society and line ministry pledged their support for the implementation of the document, especially for it to become user-friendly.
World Health Organization, with funds from the UK government, has launched a project to implement the United Nations Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, which aims at reducing the smoking in Sierra Leone. Let's now join Francis Danema. We're sorry for that, and we hope to bring that story later. A team from the National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT, headed by the Director General, have visited the Sarah Grant Market Complex under construction. The visit was to assess the ongoing construction work by MKD Jazz Constructors. The market, when completed, would host a huge number of traders on the streets of Freetown. Princess Gibson was with the team and now reports.
This market complex is a $14 million investment by the National Social Security and Insurance Trust NASIT to address street trading, which has become a menace in the city. The current administration of NASIT has taken a conducted tour of the complex that is near completion.
It's still impressive. As we look forward to the completion of this project, we've been on it for over 3 years now, and we're still way behind the completion because we're supposed to have completed it in November of last year. So as we see it, those of you coming for the first time, it's a very big structure, but we are yet to be there in terms of completion.
The mayor of the Freetown municipality, Yvonne Akisoya, also gave her impression about construction work so far.
Sarah Grounds Market project was a joint venture between FCC and NASIT, where NASIT have 75% and FCC has 25%. And I'm really pleased that we've been able to go around the structure.
Advocates of disability education in Sierra Leone are calling on the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education for inclusive education in ensuring quality education. Since the inception of the free quality education, there has been notable support to blind pupils in schools where they coexist with the sighted. Let's now join Suriba Samoa. The communications manager of the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Malcolm Pana, has launched the Grafton Youth Development Organization at St. George's Foundation Complex, Grafton. The organization was formed to reduce crime rates in the community and to also advocate for better living conditions to youth. Francis Danema has more.
Grafton community of recent times has witnessed increase in criminal activities. Young people are also at the center of violence in the community. Youth in the community have always blamed owners of factories and companies operating in Grafton for not employing them. As a step to address unemployment and crime in the community, Grafton Youth and Development Organization has been formed. Chairman, Grafton Youth and Development Organization, David Kagbo, said the formation of the organization is against the background that youth have not been involving in the national cleaning exercise. The organization, he said, will help advocate for employment and provide skills training for the youth to become self-reliant, and called on the Ministry of Youth and other organizations to support their objectives. Chairman of the launching, Derek Abdul Fufana, called on the youth to be united in pursuing their vision. He said the move taken by the youth can reduce criminal activities in Grafton community. Communications Manager, Ministry of Youth Affairs, Malcolm Kpana, encouraged the youth to empower themselves with employable skills if they are to be employed by factories and companies that are operating in their community. He said the ministry under the new direction has initiated programs including Youth in Car Wash projects that Grafton will be benefiting from, and youth service among others. The ministry, he disclosed, will soon recruit 500 youth corps in addition to the already 200 that have been recruited. Certificates were distributed to groups that participated in a football competition. SLBC News, Francis Ndanema.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Ali Kaba, has briefed the diplomatic community of the African country on the commissions of inquiry. The management was held in the ministry's conference, Tower Hill, Freetown. Let's join Rose Kunima Stevens.
Director General and Ambassador at Large Paul Mina updated members of the international community on progress made so far by the government in setting up of the commissions of inquiry. Minister of Information and Communications Mohamed Rahman Souare told development partners that the declaration of wars against discipline, poverty and corruption by President Julius Maada Bio was in fulfillment of the campaign promise embedded in his 2018 New Direction Manifesto. He added that corruption is visible in Sierra Leone and the fight against corruption must be taken seriously. The minister cited a perception survey conducted by the Institute for Governance Reform on the views of Sierra Leoneans on the commissions of inquiry, which indicated that over 81% of the respondents are in support of the commissions of inquiry.
About 81% of citizens resoundingly and overwhelmingly support the commissions of inquiry. About 68.3% do so when disaggregated. 68.3% of Sierra Leoneans also support the commissions of inquiry, even in the heartland of the opposition stronghold of Makeni or Mali district. So this is to tell you, this is indeed the People's Commission that is here to address a historic wrong which has continued to permeate our society and which the whole country believes should now be fought root and shoot.
Dr. Ali Kaba underscored the relevance of the commissions of inquiry, stating that corruption has been the reason for the underdevelopment of the country. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation pointed out that the commissions of inquiry are not targeting political parties, ethnic groups or regions, but a nationalistic move to holistically address a common enemy, which is corruption.
I must say, ladies and gentlemen, that the time for accountability is here. An ounce of prevention, as you know, is worth a pound of cure. The Commission of Inquiry is here. It's a foregone conclusion, as you heard from my colleague, Minister of Information and Communication. The irony is that some of those invited to help the law enforcement agencies are misunderstanding the concept. And I know you've had many meetings with some of those individuals and political actors. As humans, what we don't understand, we fear the most. And what we fear, we hate. I beseech you to assist the government by engaging the opposition, to encourage them to understand that the Commission is simply requesting government officials to account for their stewardship. As indicated earlier on, if you don't learn from the past, you don't repeat it. They are all therefore invited to assist the Commission of Inquiry, and this should simply examine the content and not simply the bottom of their stewardship.
He called on the international community to support and follow the process throughout. Reporting for SLBC, Rose Konima-Stevens.
First Lady Fatima Bio has formally launched a new telecom service provider, K3. The new broadband service would provide multiple channels on its own broadband telecommunication network. The new broadband service is a revolutionary technology with quality internet. Princess Gibson reports.
K3 Telecom Service provides over 100 channels with bundled service in mobile television and videos on demand. The digital program will provide extended insight into television and content. The telecommunications market will experience a full-stack triple service for the first time.
K3, we aim to get something new, to make a new world available for everyone across of not only Sierra Leone, but Africa.
Director General Sierra Leone Cable Limited, SALCAP, Ishmael Kebe, said his administration has positioned a strong growth orientation to support sustainable growth in the sector.
We have reduced wholesale bandwidth price by 48%, rolled out a data transportation network through the development of a physical fiber cable from Freetown to major provincial headquarters and townships, up to our international borders such as Guinea and Liberia.
First Lady Fatima Bio noted that Sierra Leone will experience the beauty of a new product with the fastest internet connectivity.
This is important because K3 are not only going to provide us with a telephone line, but they are going to provide us with a television, a telephone, and an internet in one package for a very reasonable price, so that everybody in this country can afford to have a package. There's nothing beautiful than having your TV, your telephone, and an internet working in one place, and you just have to pay one price.
K3 Telecoms will operate customer service centers by a team of Sierra Leonean consultants. Princess Gibson, SLBC News.
The Ministry of Information and Communications has concluded the sensitization for stakeholders on the commissions of inquiry in the northern, southern, eastern, and northwestern regions in the country. The sensitization, which attracted hundreds of stakeholders from all regions, gave opportunity for critical issues surrounding the commissions of inquiry to be clarified. The sensitization process was held in various district council halls in the regions. Joseph Toure went along and now reports.
Recently, concerns were raised by many on issues surrounding the Commission of Inquiry, but not limited to the three legal instruments and the rules of evidence. Though commissions of inquiries had been held in the past, many seem to have limited knowledge about it. According to the Deputy Minister of Information and Communications, Solomon Jamiru, in his address to stakeholders in Kenema, where the sensitization process began, the commissions of inquiry are aimed at enhancing democratic accountability and not to witch hunt anyone. Similar session was held in Bo, where stakeholders made positive contributions and promised to disseminate the message to their subject. In Makeni, stakeholders from the northern region were eager to hear from the Deputy Minister of Information and Communications. The Deputy Minister said the government inherited $1.5 billion external debt and $500 million internal debt. He told them that the commissions of inquiry is legal because the three instruments used to establish it were passed into law by Parliament, with all the legal procedures followed. He noted that commissions of inquiry is not a court that will try and jail those who will face it, but to investigate persons of interest and submit a report to the executive.
Indeed, it is clear in the 1991 Constitution that the Rules of Committee shall make rules for all commissions of inquiry. But since we had the 1991 Constitution in 1991, Rules of Court Committee had never made rules, but we've been having, that had not been precluded the setting up of commissions of inquiry. We even had commission of inquiry in the past regime. Rules of Court Committee never created rules for that commission, but the absence of those rules never stopped the commission from functioning. But what is important to emphasize is, in the constitutional instruments that were laid before Parliament, instruments 64, 65 and 66, 64, 65 and 67, it is clear in the constitutional instrument that the rules of practice and procedure governing the High Court shall also apply to the Commission of Inquiry.
Stakeholders from the northern region call on the government to ensure fairness and transparency throughout the process. In Kono, stakeholders promised to take the message to the nook and cranny of the district. The sensitization tour on the commissions of inquiry was concluded in Putloko town, where stakeholders from Karine, Kambia and Putloko districts converged to get adequate information about the process. The Deputy Minister of Information and Communication, Solomon Jamiru, disclosed that the 3 judges will begin sitting for public hearing on the 29th of January 2019. He said, over the years, bad governance has hindered the country's development, noting that every public servant is there to deliver for the good of the country, as well as to be held accountable according to the law. The Deputy Minister assured them that the whole process will be free, fair, transparent and independent. SLBC News, Joseph Ture, Freetown.
Chief Minister Professor David Francis has turned the sword for the construction of a modern campus for the Institute of Public Administration and Management, IPAM, at Buret Town along the Western Area Peninsula. The campus will accommodate over 3,000 students with facilities that befit 21st century university environment. Rose Konima Stevens reports.
According to the Chief Minister, Professor David Francis, the construction of a university campus for IPAM will to greater extent add value to what the institution has been over the decades.
This is what this new administration is about. It's about creating something new. Can you imagine the students who are beneficiaries of the free quality education coming out in the next 3, 4, 5 years and they don't have any place to go to? We need to start planning now so that by the time we have this very large number of post-university, post-secondary school students looking and desperate to get university places and student facilities, we are already prepared for it. This is forward thinking. This is what leadership is all about. We don't wait, we plan and we deliver. So I'm very pleased that you see the Vice Chancellor turning up. Now I believe that this is Soldier Team.
He said that over the years, IPAM has produced people who are contributing significantly to the development of the country, adding that with the new campus, more students will be enrolled and campus life enjoyed. Academics at the turning of the sword ceremony expressed appreciation to the government of Sierra Leone for prioritizing quality education. They promised that the institute will continue to upkeep its excellence in academia. The Institute of Public Administration and Management awards certificates, diplomas, and confers degrees. The Institute also designs and organizes management training short courses and programs for personnel in the public and private sectors. For SLBC News, Rose Konima Stevens reporting.
Court number 1 will on Monday, 28th January, invoke all sexual offences cases in Freetown. This was disclosed by the spokesperson of the judiciary, Moses Lamin Kamara, at a press conference held by Child Welfare Society Sierra Leone. This move was to declare rape as a national emergency in the country. The event took place at the Child Welfare Society's head office, 4th Street in Freetown. Mohamed Lamin Toure now reports.
Despite the launch of the Hands of Our Girls campaign last year, together with other first ladies from across Africa, rape figures keep increasing instead of the reverse. Recent statistics from the Family Support Unit of the Sierra Leone Police indicates that 8,505 rape cases were reported nationwide last year. out of a population of over 7 million people. Of that amount, 2,579, which represents a third of the rape population, accounts for child rape. According to the Executive Director of Child Welfare Society, Moses Mambu, the organization is an advocacy non-governmental and non-profit making charitable organization that promotes development and welfare of street children, orphans, and neglected children. Mambu said they are concerned about the high increase of rape and therefore suggested that government declares the issue of rape and sexual penetration as an emergency, just like the Ebola virus disease outbreak. Aminata Kamara, an officer attached to the Family Support Unit headquarters, said sexual penetration is in two forms. While sexual penetration deals with 14 years below, rape deals with 18 years and below. She spoke of challenges faced by the FSU, which includes complainants not making follow-ups after reporting such cases, out-of-court settlements, access to medical reports and vehicles to take victims from police to rehabilitation centers. Moses Lamin Kamara, spokesperson for the judiciary, said they are committed in the fight against sexual abuse cases, adding that trainings have been held for judges and magistrates on handling of sexual penetration matters. He added that when cases of sexual penetration are in court, bail is normally granted to accused persons only on the approval of a judge. Mr. Kamara noted that the issue of rape is becoming a national concern to the judiciary. The reason why all sexual cases at Court Number 1 will be invoked on Monday, 28th January 2019 in Freetown. Martha B. Kanu, National Coordinator of Child Welfare Society, said as an organization, their main focus is to make the community safer for children and women, especially vulnerable and the marginalized.
In this light, we are calling on government to take account of the following measures. Number 1, government to enforce all laws regarding children and their safety with immediate effect and declare the issue of child rape a national emergency. Number 2, interreligious councils to help disseminate information and educate their congregation on rape through their podiums, as was the case with the EVD epidemic. Number 3, the Sierra Leone police to ensure speedy investigations on rape cases. And number 4, the judiciary to carry out speedy trials and levy heavy jail sentences on perpetrators.
The national president of Children's Forum Network, Mariama Mafoy Samai, noted that sexual penetration and rape has become a daily activity for men who do not respect the laws of the country, adding that those men who rape must be taught a lesson. She called on the police to speedily investigate cases while the judiciary enforced the law.
The Director of Primary Healthcare, Dr. Ali Wuri, has handed over 3 healthcare commodities to the Pujehun District Health Management Team through the District Council. The handing over ceremony took place at the Pujehun District Council Hall. For more on this, let's join Joseph Stanley.
Dr. Wuri, this is the second supply in 4 months as the process started in October last year. He added that this is an indication that the ministry is determined to ensure regular supply of the free healthcare commodities to enhance quality service delivery.
We are here to distribute the drugs and medical supply to Pujehun District for the second time in 4 months. The first supply was done in October 2018. We are now here for the second supply, or like I said, the first supply in 2019. And we are here with 4 trucks. The two trucks are for the hospital, and the 2 other trucks are for the peripheral health units. And we are happy to say they are all cooperative and they have promised to give their commitment in joining the ministry in monitoring the utilization of these drugs.
He said the involvement of key stakeholders in the distribution is to ensure transparency as well as monitoring of the process. The director expressed government's commitment to providing quality health services for the populace, especially the vulnerable, noting that plans are being put in place for the supply of the cost recovery drugs. He lauded the efforts of the district health management team and stakeholders for their prompt response to reduce the burden posed by the measles outbreak in the Pujom district. The chairman Parliamentary Committee on Health, Honorable Moses Bimba Jockey, commended government for expanding the free health care to now include persons with disabilities and Ebola survivors. He encouraged stakeholders to be watchdog in monitoring the distribution. The Deputy Chairman Pujom District Council, Mohamed Niwul Mansare, promised not only to monitor the distribution, but to also strengthen the partnership with the district health management team to enhance quality health outcomes.
The nurse in charge, Yoni Community Health Post, Banti Chiefdom, in the Bombali district, Zaliatu Bangura, has called on government for more material support to enable them to carry out their work effectively from Makeni. Hassan Foy Kamara has the details.
Told SLBCs that sometimes it takes up to 3 months before free healthcare drugs are supplied. In such situations, she added, they will have no option but to only run tests, make prescription for patients to buy drugs from pharmacies and provide treatment. She reveals that altogether the center oversees 9 communities but attend to more. Nurse in charge highlighted diarrhea, fever and malaria as the most common cases frequently reported to the health center. She said with support from World Hope and the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, they now have effective water supply and a solar facility for the store where vaccines are kept. But for the running of the center, she said this.
We don't get light, number one.
There is no light. We use phone light to do delivery at night. We don't have delivery beds. Sometimes we are forced to do delivery on the floor, which is not hygienic.
The pass you put the woman don't side before it born, and hygienic for the woman condition.
The nurse in charge, Yoni Community Health Post, said she has served for almost 3 years now without salary, a situation she emphasized is posing a serious challenge to their work. In response, the Senior Health Education Officer, District Health Management Team DHMT Bombali, Mohamed Conte, said the ministry in collaboration with partners is working assiduously to deliver effective health services to communities, but are also faced with a lot of challenges. Mr. Conte said recently, drugs have been distributed to health centers and the process is still in progress. On salary, he said this.
Well, I believe everything is on course.
Everything is on course as far as equipment is concerned. Government is working on it. We are just encouraging them to continue the work. One day soon, they will also start receiving salaries.
Big included staff and begin receiving salaries.
Yoni Community Health Post is not the only health facility with the challenges. Many others, especially in remote communities, similarly face the same.
The United Methodist Church Sierra Leone has held its 139th session of the Sierra Leone's annual conference under the theme Celebrating the Vision, Embracing the Future. The session also marks the 10th Episcopal ordination anniversary of the Bishop of the UMC in Sierra Leone, Bishop John Ambasu. Soiva Samura now reports.
The conference attracted Western and African missions who have come to see how the autonomous Sierra Leone chapter has come so far in ministry. Different congregations within and outside of Sierra Leone, the Americas and the United Kingdom branches converged on the King Memorial United Methodist Church to witness what they call an historic session. Keynote speaker Thomas Kemper, General Secretary of Board of Global Ministries, delivered a pictorial history of the United Methodist Church, ranging from 15 years of the United Methodist Church to 10 years of episcopacy of Bishop John Yambasu. He was gratified by the strides taken by the church in Sierra Leone, led by the overseer, in culminating dependency on overseas support and keeping up with operations of the ministry in Sierra Leone. Bishop John Yambasu, in his episcopal address, themed Stepping into the Future Challenge for Self-Transformation, catalogued the achievements attained in 10 years of divine dispensation amidst the challenges. He likened his vision for the United Methodist Church 10 years later to that of the traits of an eagle, saying, an eagle metamorphoses to regain strength and face more challenges. Bishop Yambasu called on the entire congregation of the National Church to fly differently, and not only differently, but to go beyond the clouds. He admonished all to change attitude towards those whom God has chosen to lead them, adding that the destiny of the followers is tied to those they follow. Other speakers include representatives of the Catholic Church and the Council of Churches in Sierra Leone.
The program manager, Caritas Freetown, Idris Gibson Mansare, has spoken of plans to upscale their disaster management support within the Culverts community in Freetown. He revealed that their plans at a one-day consultative meeting was held to update members of the Culverts community-led disaster management committee. Here is the report.
Culvert is one of the communities that is faced with the risk of disaster, lack of sanitation and hygiene facilities. The community lacks footbridges and proper toilet facilities. It could be recalled that the people within this Culvert community were amongst victims of the recent flooding disasters. It is against this backdrop that Caritas Freetown supported the community with training on fire prevention, provision of food and medicines, and the commencement of cleaning and fumigation exercise to protect the community from disease-transferring insects. The program manager, Caritas Freetown, Idris Gibson Mansari, said that the intervention in Culvert community was motivated by the disaster risks faced recently by the people in this community, adding that training them on how to research and rescue people during flooding is one of the next interventions of Caritas Freetown to the Culvert community. He went on that within the next 6 months, they will transform the toilet facilities, fumigate the community, conduct cleaning, and support schools with sanitation facilities. He assured them of their continued support to give a facelift to the community. Chairman, Community-Led Disaster Management Committee Jibril Bangura commended Caritas Freetown for the humanitarian support to their community, adding that they will make good use of the opportunity Caritas has made available to them.
Feed the Children Plus has ended a 2-day training with 260 people on strengthening community capacity to mitigate and respond to natural disasters in 12 communities in the Western area rural. The workshop, which was held at the Funkia Community Health Center, was to empower people living in disaster-prone areas ahead of the rains and to help them prevent disasters. Amina Shnyandi Brema reports.
On September 15, 2015, Sierra Leone experienced flooding that destroyed houses, property, and left hundreds homeless.
No, nothing, no get. All don't go.
And on 14 August 2016, Sierra Leone also experienced the worst disaster mudslide at Motome, Kanigo, and Kamayama, leaving hundreds dead and many homeless.
All dead in spot. There were 8 in the number living the same roof. Everybody died, including her husband. We lost everybody.
It was in this light Feed the Children Plus embarked on disaster risk reduction and mitigation training. The National Protected Area Authority Manager in charge of planning, research and monitoring, Brema Bangura, said NPPA is established to exercise oversight authority over national parks and protected areas designated for conservation purpose, to protect plants and animals in their natural habitats, promote sustainable land use practice and environment. Brema Bangura, during his presentation, said disaster has become very phenomenal in the country, affirming that people should put an end to sand mining and deforestation in areas that are prohibited.
The aspect of felling down trees for charcoal burning, for housing, the encroachment on land within protected areas, they are of very great concern, because those areas serve as catchment areas in terms of providing water facilities for Freetown. So the more people encroach into those protected areas in terms of building houses, clearing forests in the catchment areas, it's going to create a concern. It has created concern already. But what we do is that of engaging the people on a daily basis, that we introduce them the aspects of co-management, tell them the benefits they will gain or what it is, the negative impact that they will cause in case they continue deforesting or encroaching into some of these protected areas.
A participant, Augustine Yaya Senesi, stated that the workshop has taught him how to detect and take care of disaster when it happens in his community, as many people do not have idea about disaster and how to manage it. He called on participants to put into practice in their various communities what they have learned and to share their ideas to others, as they were invited to represent their communities at the two-day workshop. Chief Executive Officer Feed the Children Plus, Mariam Nabiu, said that the purpose of the workshop is to prepare the people in disaster-prone areas ahead of the rains and to enable them manage disaster when it occurs.
We did a survey and we saw so much hazard in the community and all that. So we decided to write a project because normally charity begins at home. So we want to do this first of all in this part of the country, and definitely we'll have to extend it. But then this is what we want to do. It's a support we receive. It's from the support we receive from UNDP under their GF SGP program. That is a small program. Train and capacity. In fact, the project title is Strengthening Community Capacity to Mitigate and Respond to Natural Disasters.
She underscored that 260 people from 12 communities in the coastal and hillside communities were invited as participants, and that they will be having vibrant youths in different communities as task force that will be going around the communities to take information and reporting future threats and disasters. Discussions and award of certificates formed part of the workshop. SLBC News, Amina Shnyani Brahma.
The National Stadium, commonly called Shaka Stevens Stadium, is the biggest in Sierra Leone and mostly hosts big events like presidential inaugurations, religious crusades, musical extravaganzas, and international matches, and in the events brings thousands of people together. But for more than a decade now, poor toilet facilities have been one of the major challenges that citizens are complaining about. In this light, SLBC looks at the preparedness of the stadium as many await the kickstarts of the Premier League. Cynthia Kamara has more.
The National Stadium, commonly known as the Shaka Stevens Stadium, sits majestically at the western part of Freetown, Brookfields to be precise. It was built in 1979 by the Chinese and named after former President Shaka Stevens. The stadium houses facilities for major sporting disciplines like track and field events, football, swimming, karate halls, basketball and volleyball courts, and table tennis rooms are also built there, to name a few. It also boasts of a hostel and other administrative outlets in its vicinity. The National Stadium can host 36,000 spectators to any given program at its main bowl. The stadium is occasionally used as a venue for social, cultural, religious, and public events, including the inauguration of newly elected president of the nation. But over the years, the general public has been concerned about the deterioration of the facilities, such as inadequate water and poor toilet facilities. The issue has come to be more prominent now, as the nation is expected to descend on the National Stadium with the kickstart of the Premier League. Due to this poor state of toilet facilities, visitors to the National Stadium are most times seen or forced to ease themselves on gutters and peripheries of the vicinity, while others are greeted with uncomfortable bad odors.
The condition is very bad. In fact, the toilet facility is not good and all of these things, and they need to put it in place. Because when you get there, in fact, you want to even stand there for a minute, because everything is bad. So they need to put things in place. They need to renovate the stadium, because for the league to start is one, but the stadium needs to be renovated.
The general manager National Stadium, Paul Damuli Jr., told SLBC that meeting the newly appointed Minister of Sport some weeks ago, blames were hyped on bad boys that attend programs at the stadium who misuse the facility.
I am presently working closely with the Chinese to ensure that the stadium is in good order. Our first priority is the strengthening or reinforcement of the National Stadium main bowl, which has already been done, as the general public was complaining about its weakness. Our second target is to fix in new lighting systems all over the National Stadium. After all this is done, we can ensure to install adequate toilet facilities, which are presently on the high seas to Sierra Leone.
The general manager of the National Stadium, however, assured Sierra Leoneans that they will put modalities in place to ensure that the toilets are cleaned up and in good order before the start of the Premier League. Cynthia Kamara reporting for SLBC News.
And now for some African news. International observers have expressed concern about the suspension of Nigeria's Chief Justice just 3 weeks before a general election. Judge Walter Onogen was suspended by President Muhammadu Buhari on Friday. He is facing charges for allegedly failing to declare his personal assets before taking office in 2017. But the EU, UK and US have taken serious issue with his removal, suggesting it could cast a pall over the electoral process. Mr. Buhari's decision has been called an act of dictatorship by his main challenger in next month's election, Atiku Abubakar. The opposition politicians have halted campaign in protest at the president's decision to suspend the head of Supreme Court. President Buhari, who is seeking a second term, has often accused the judiciary of frustrating the anti-corruption fight. However, no details have been given on the reasons behind the move. Students have been arrested in connection with the murder of a teacher in Kenya after he reportedly confiscated at least one mobile phone. Peter Omari, a physics teacher at Hopewell High School in Nakuru, was attacked on Thursday. The students are prohibited from taking mobile phones to many schools in Kenya as they are blamed for exam cheating and indiscipline. Officials told the BBC that Mr. Omari had been supervising evening studies. The area's Deputy County Commissioner, Elim Shafi, said that Mr. Omari was walking back to his home inside the school compound in Nakuru, 150 kilometers northwest of the capital, Nairobi, when he was struck on the head. Attacks on teachers and schools are a growing concern from the authorities, says the BBC's Mercy Jumba in Nairobi. Last year, a Kenyan teacher was murdered with a machete by students in Kisumu, Western Kenya, reportedly after a heated exchange at a bar. In 2016, students at a boarding school in Kizi burnt down the dormitories allegedly after they were banned from watching a live broadcast of the Euro 2016 football match. Nigeria's main opposition party has suspended its presidential election campaign for 72 hours in protest at the suspension of the country's most senior judge by President Muhammadu Buhari, as said on Saturday. The president on Friday said he had suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onogen, who has been asked to appear before a tribunal over allegations of breaching asset declaration rules. Onogen has not responded to the charges, and his lawyers say the tribunal does not have the authority to try him. Buhari, who was a military ruler in the 1980s and voted into office in 2015, is seeking a fresh term in an election scheduled to take place on February 16th. At a stake in controls of Africa's top crude oil producer and one of the continent's biggest economies. Nigeria's judiciary has helped resolve electoral disputes after past votes, some of which have been marred by violence and vote rigging. The Chief Justice could preside over a dispute election result. Temilade Adelaja, Nigeria's main opposition party president candidate, Atiku Abubakar, speaks during an interview with Reuters in Lagos, Nigeria, January 2019. In the first instance, we are suspending our campaign for 72 hours. It is a hope that President Buhari will listen to the voice of all lovers of democracy and world over and restore democracy in Nigeria immediately and without qualifications, the People's Democratic Party said in a statement. And now for some entertainment news. Sierra Leone's female gospel singer, Sister Melrose Camara, will be celebrating her 1-year anniversary in the field of proper gospel music. Our entertainment producer went through her file as a gospel artist and compiled this report, read in the studio by Millicent Lunge.
We bow before your throne in adoration. You are God.
The happiest moment for celebrities is when they celebrate their golden or silver jubilee in their God-given field. This act is to prove joy and commitment over their professions. In Sierra Leone, few celebrities celebrate their talents, and one such star is a female gospel singer, Sister Melrose Camara, who started singing praise and worship songs in church at an early age. Sister Melrose will be celebrating her 1-year anniversary in the field of proper gospel music at the Jehovah Nissi Living Word of Faith Ministries at Jalo Terrace in the eastern part of Freetown. Sister Melrose grew up in Makeni, where she did her primary schooling at the St. Francis Primary School and further at St. Joseph Convent Secondary School in Makeni. According to her, she came from a Muslim family and later converted to Christianity. In school, she was encouraged by her pastor, Sunduke, to join the school choir called Gospel Messengers. The group went singing from school to school in Makeni, and this gave her the urge to change religion. In 2009, Sister Melrose left for Gambia after the war and started her music career proper, and there again she met her singing mentor, Pastor Forbes, who motivated her to become a proper gospel musician. In the Gambia, she recorded 4 of her songs and 2 in Freetown at the Sanctuary Praise Church in Brookfields. She recorded 6 songs in her album titled Jesus Reigns.
Everybody lift your hands and say that Jesus reigns and he reigns forevermore.
This album was launched last year, and now she is about to celebrate 1 year of its release at the Jehovah Nissi Living Word Ministries on Sunday the 27th of January, and it will be a live performance. She will be collaborating with another gospel singer, president of the Gospel Musicians, Sister Blessed, as the church will be having its Africana Sunday and musical youth performance. Sister Melrose says she is not only singing for Christians but also for non-Christians, as she believes her songs can win souls. She called for support from her fans and all churches to continue their support towards her, as her aim is to take Sierra Leone's gospel music to a higher heights.
He reigns, Jesus, he reigns, Jesus, he reigns, Jesus, he reigns.
And now for some sports. Senior stakeholders of the Old Edwardian Association have unveiled their jerseys and newly signed players. This is in readiness of the start of the Sierra Leone Premier League that was put on hold for over 4 years due to the internal wrangling in the football family. The unveiling ceremony took place at the St. Edward Secondary School, King Tom. Esther Marie Samuel has more.
Old Edwardians Football Club is the only team that is playing in the Sierra Leone Premier League that has a history of formation by old pupils of a particular school, St. Edward's. Old Edwardians has a long-standing list of distinguished former pupils, and some of them were in the school compound where the teams and supporters' jerseys were unveiled, including some of their new players. Joe Blair, former chairman of the team, said the club has been managed by a few individuals, of which he applauded their efforts, but called on the entire membership of Old Edwardians to come on board in moving the club forward. Leader of the opposition, Honorable Chenoba, also an alumnus of the school, commended those who have been promoting the club. According to him, the school has produced a number of gifted sportsmen. He called on all to give back to the school by supporting the Old Edwardians football team.
This school an obligation. Mr. Wallace has done a fantastic job with the school. Let us, the Old Edwardians, in turn do a fantastic job with the football club. We have to compliment his efforts. It is made very clear But when we start winning matches, the boys will follow. So for those of us that are here, let us make sure we support the chairman and his team for them to succeed. Because the moment we start winning matches, those Edwardians who are hiding in other places will start coming out.
The team's logo and jerseys were unveiled by some senior Old Edwardians, followed by the unveiling of some of the new players of the club. Other members of the association pledged their support in moving the club to a higher level. Esther Marie Samora, SLBC TV.
Many thanks there. That was Esther Marie Samora. To end the news, the main points again. Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Anthony Sandy, has said that the strong link between child marriage and adolescent pregnancy is now a national concern. The World Health Organization, with funds from UK government, has launched a project to reduce tobacco smoking in the country. And advocates of disability education in Sierra Leone have called on the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education to prioritize inclusive education in the country. National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT, has inspected construction work at the Sewa Grounds Market Complex. That's all in this edition of the Weekend News. I am Zulatu Hamid. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Hello everyone, my name is Eben and you're watching SLBC. Don't touch that dial. Peace.
This is Emanuela with SLBC.
For news, views and comments, always tune to SLBC.
Mr. Van Boy, what's in the happen so now we country?
Like a watching?
Like the violence, the chuk-chuk, the kind wood where you say they behave.
Now because then they take some kind drug where they're not supposed to take, like a brown, dicey, damba, tamadol, and other bad room there, we're not fit for the system.
This Ibado is not good for we country. We for talk to we picking them, we brother them, we uncle, we papa, we sister them. Let them left for take them drug here. It's not good. It they kill them. It they make them do things. We're not good.
When you talk to the man where they take Oswara, don't forget for talk to the man where they bring a car, where they cancel and get it. If they're not here, they no go buy or take her.
Now true. What's in they confuse me? Now how can they get some?
Yeah, by Chumagu, like for Dambayu, then the Chumagu song. So then they plant and yeah.
But this is now wickedness. They say plant food for food security. Like a rice, cassava, petete, yam, cocoa, plantain. Now jamba on they go plant.
Why all this for stop? Now that to make the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, winner NDLEA, the one Oma where they punish habit for plant gamba, smuggle then drug ya into Taron for stop that. And you where they take am, left for take am now. Because if they catch you, you go jail, you pay fine.
He's done so much for me. He's done so much for me. I cannot tell it all.
The Faith Assembly of God Church, Bass Street, Brookfield presents Restoration Crusade 2019 with the theme Jesus the Waymaker.
starting from Monday 28th January to Sunday 3rd February at 6 p.m. daily.
Guest preachers for this year's crusade are Bishop Archibald Cole, Reverend Francis Mambu, Reverend Laminti Kabia, Apostle Moses K, and the host pastor, Reverend Issa Toure.
With preachings from the men of God, God will restore your hope
and destroy the cankerworm that is disturbing your family.
So, be at the Faith Assembly of God Church, Bastille Brookfield, from Monday 28th January to the 3rd of February to witness Restoration Crusade 2019, because Jesus is the Waymaker.
What shall I render to Jehovah? For he has done so very much for me.
Oh my gosh, this is remarkable. This is worth going for. What a 21st century architecture situated on 7C Damba Road, Moritown, opposite Professional Global University. A house for rent, office space or dwelling. Experience the state-of-the-art luxury architectural speech while furnished with world best #1 rated building materials. Parking space for approximately 10 cars. Splendid, breathtaking view with a befitting color combination, classic interior decor with appealing drywall ceiling, cute and secure doors, windows and spot lighting system call for attention. Spotless floors and modern day stairs could not be avoided. Oh no, maximum security, no wahala. Don't tell me you want to miss this thrilling luxury. Stop worrying and take the bold step. You will be amazed. For more information, contact John Brewer on
It's frustrating waiting for your videos, music, voice notes, and documents to arrive on a slow 3G network. It starts, then it stops, then it starts again. And finally, oh no, it stopped. But forget about old 3G technology now. Introducing Sierra Leone's first 4G LTE network from Sierratel. Now you can watch movies, listen to music, chat online and work faster. Sierratel 4G LTE. It don't be. Change to Sierra Leone's fastest network now. It's 10 times faster than 3G. Visit your nearest Sierratel shop today.
Nisef want 4G LTE.
Sierratel. Truly ours, truly yours.
I want to start by saying thank you to God.